Great, thank you guys. So I was here 18 months ago and I was talking about how we actually need to fail in order to do innovation really, really well. So it's good to be back to looking at real people in your three-dimensional world rather than just names on a page. So I'm Bianca, founder of and group CEO of Butterfly. Anyone of you guys who already know us, we're working with a few of you anyway, will know that we're always someone who's going around provoking things and thinking differently. That's what we've done for the last 12 years. So that's what we want to do here with this session. And I'm going to ask for some audience participation. And now that I can actually see you, please do comply, because otherwise I'll just be left hanging. So, first of all, 3.2. Any views about the significance of this number? Is it the meaning of the answer of the universe? If I put this word, 3.2 billion, does that make it any more helpful? So, people is absolutely true. So we worked on the purpose work for Harpic with actually our Reckitt colleagues last year, and I learned that there are 3.2 billion people who don't have access to a safe and hygienic toilet. Kind of blows your mind that there's such a proportion. That's like just under half of the world's population who don't have what we just take completely for granted. And there are also 3.2 billion gamers out there in the world. So please raise your hand. This is the bit I really would like you to participate in. Please raise your hands if you have access to a safe and hygienic toilet. That's very reassuring. Keep your hands up if you game. A few of you, but not as many as have access to a safe and hygienic toilet. So either, in this very small and probably not very quantifiably accurate test, not everyone who games has access to a safe and hygienic toilet. Therefore, there are people who game who don't have access to a safe and hygienic toilet, which sort of puts into relief Maslow's hierarchy of needs and suggests that maybe there are some more fundamental needs that people don't have before they get higher order needs. So the gaming industry, for anyone who doesn't know, is absolutely massive. It is worth a mind-boggling more than the music industry and the movie industry put together. It is fundamentally changing our lives and what we do and how we socialize, how we consume data, and also how we shop, which is quite an exciting proposition, especially for businesses who are selling largely products. There's a great quote by this futures writer, speculative fiction writer, William Gibson. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. I love this because this shows that things that are around us are already there, but we just don't have full access to it. And there's a lot of talk about the metaverse. You would have heard that word coming up time and time again in the news. Yesterday, Facebook saying that they were going to hire 10,000 Europeans to build the metaverse. So it leads us to a question of, my provocative question of, will consumer insight professionals become extinct? Will we become obsolete? What does this mean, this big question? Certainly this is the brave new world of the real world, the virtual world, and this is what we're quite interested in thinking about, what the impact on us and our work is. I want to share, in the last 12 years, possibly the most exciting brief that has landed on our door. And it's quite an unusual brief in that I received this brief on the 20th of October 2022. And this is for a beauty company that wants to create a new revenue stream, a new business model that is looking at creating an AR-enabled virtual platform. And they wanted our help to craft what that meant. And what I find very interesting about this is about new business models, this is about new revenue streams, this is around thinking of consumers in a very different way that we think of them, consumers who consume products. Many of you are at CPG businesses, consumer packaged goods businesses. This might change. Why should your businesses be defined as how Wall Street defines you? So I want to show a little bit of a video that can help explain what this metaverse thing is. It's a world where the technology enables our real lives to come together with our virtual lives in a really seamless way. This video shows us Adobe created this. I think this is quite cool, actually. Philip, who leads all of our technology developments, will absolutely love this. But what's very interesting, you will have noticed someone puts on a pair of glasses. This technology already exists. We've had Pokemon Go a few years ago. We've got virtual dressing rooms already there. There's, I think it's Sony, the Xperia, has a tabletop projector where you can kind of see things in front of you. All of this technology already exists. You just need an enabler. In this case, it was a pair of glasses, an accessory, just like this gadget brought everything and enabled so many different things. What I find really cool about this is how it will enable us to live in this very fluid life. And what you will have noticed is you get an opportunity for brands to be present in people's lives. If you notice the little balloons, the multicolored balloons, that's kind of a leitmotif that reminds me of Sony. So brands can actually be physically present in somebody's lives in a really fluid way. So it really starts to pose the question of, well, what are our lives going to be like? What role do we play in understanding those consumers and understanding those people? So, you know, our lives are all about, and our roles and our professions are all around understanding people. But I think we need to raise the question to a more philosophical question of what does it mean to be a human? This is a video. Anyone seen Years and Years, an HBO and BBC production a couple of years ago? Super cool. It looks at a dystopian future, fast-forwarding every episode 5 years, and it tracks technology, social change. Oh my goodness. So anyway, in this video, this is very fast, in this video she talks about wanting to be a transhuman.
I'm not transsexual, I'm transhuman.
And then the parents go and say, oh gosh, what does this mean? It sounds very, very crazy, but actually this future is already here, as Gibson says, because we're living this with Instagram. We've got fake Instas and real Instas, and we have multiple selves that are coming together in a platform. So it's not like we have these different selves that are all fragmented. We are actually these different selves all at the same time, and our platforms enable us to show the face that we want to be seen in the world. So this is another video. Balenciaga had a virtual catwalk. They put their fashion show on the metaverse, and what's really interesting here is the convergence of the two worlds. In the first instance, this is about being really there with your consumers and merging the worlds. But where I think the great opportunity is the business model that this unlocks. Being able to think about not just selling real products, but also selling virtual products. So how will we approach this brave new world? Pain points. So we're experts in understanding pain points, human pain points, consumer pain points in the real world. What does this mean about the virtual world? What are these virtual pain points? And also, can we use tech and AI in order to predict what these pain points will be when the technology isn't there? And actually, how can we go beyond the obvious pain points? Demographics. At the moment, we recruit males 20 to 25, BC1, who live in a certain place. But actually, when we've got avatars, when we're living these multiple selves, what will it mean for how we recruit people? And do we need a new paradigm? Likewise, geographies. There's a point of view that people will associate themselves as being more from the Microsoft metaverse or the Facebook metaverse or the other metaverses, more than they'll say that I'm an American or I'm a German. This is my really exciting opportunity. The business model that can come from here, virtual products, in a world where, frankly, we're consuming too much, but we can't get away. If you're lucky to have the safe and hygienic toilet, we love to spend, but we can't spend and consume and spend and consume. So actually, virtual consumption gives us that buzz, but has a much less impact on the world. So what can consumer packaged good businesses do when the products no longer exist? And for the agency partners in the world, what does this mean for our role and what we do? If our clients brands are working directly with consumers and engaging with them, what does this mean for what we need to do, what we need to offer, how we can grow and build that relationship? So, will consumer insight professionals be obsolete? There are still 3.2 billion people without access to a safe and hygienic toilet. There are still plenty of pain points in the real world that we need to understand, but I do think we need to look above the consumer pain points and look at actually how we can solve the world's problems rather than consumer problems in order to move the world on. But this brave new world of what the technology offers, we need to be thinking beyond that about how we can grow the business. I do believe as consumer insight professionals, we are also business people. We need to be thinking commerciality. We need to be thinking about how we can grow business. That's what insight does. It helps you make choices that's going to grow business. So what is the revenue growth opportunity from new channels, from the metaverse, from other digital things that will enable? So I'm quite excited about this new brief we're going to get in a year that's about challenging some of these paradigms. And very happy to continue the conversation if you guys want to take a trip into the metaverse or such like. Thank you.
Questions? Well, I have one for you. You made me think about The Matrix, which was a movie that they're going to be releasing, I think, number 4 this year. So in your speech, you pointed out to the fact that, yes, we're going to be living double lives, but what about taking care of those 3.2 billion who don't play? And maybe there's also those who don't have access to safe water. This brings me to think about the emerging markets. I'm a very big advocate of Africa, for example, where I've done a lot of research, a lot of projects. And there you are reminded to go back to the basics. People have a mobile phone, but they can't use it. I've discovered it personally by trying to build an online community in South Africa. Yes, people do have a mobile phone, but then out of 1,700 recruited, 27 were able to log in, make the password, and join the Facebook community. So they said, we've done all this for nothing, basically. That's a failure panel case. So your point of view is, yes, you brought to the attention and to the forefront the double identity. There was also a paper a few years ago highlighting the differences in personas. So gender is becoming fluid. Your avatar could be Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and you could be a dock worker in London or something. Where do you see this going in the very near future? Because I see there going, so in a couple of years from now, what should we be doing? What should we be taking care of?
So 2 things. I absolutely agree that there are lots of people that don't have access to a safe and hygienic toilet, and actually it's for businesses to look at the impact that they're going to have on the world and think about solving the world's problems first. It's a philosophy that you guys at Reckitt really lead the thinking on very, very highly. And we should be moving from thinking about how we drive consumerism to how we really solve for those problems. And a lot of our work is on sustainability-oriented issues. So there is always that, but we can't get away from the fact that this world around us is changing. It has done loads, right, in the last 12 years. The technology is already there. Businesses are making revenue off the metaverse, and I'm assuming that you guys want to be there leading that rather than being behind. So they are not mutually exclusive. You can't do one without the other. You have to always think about what you're doing today, but having that plan for the future. So not just thinking about the world we know today, but planning for how things will evolve and being there to be at the start of a change and using it also to experiment. We've heard a lot today about experimentation, failing fast, exploring, experimenting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can grab it or not? No, okay. One question, because the picture that you've shown at the beginning, it remind me a bit of the Pokemon Go application. Yeah, everyone downloaded it, tried it, but I don't think people are still playing that much to that game. So my question behind is, is there, because when I'm seeing that, I'm thinking, to challenge a bit, but that you're showing the possibilities, so the technical possibilities, which is true, maybe that can be the future life, but is there really an appetite from consumers to live like that? And this is why I'm questioning, because I can see the functionality, the possibilities, but not really sure that translates into consumers' needs. So that
Such a great question. So let me tell you a story. Wind back a long time ago, I used to work at Camelot, and I remember hearing, so this was probably like early 2000s or something like that. Maybe 2003, 2004. I remember being told that I had a Nokia phone, and that there was going to be technology to put a camera on a phone. My honest reaction was, I don't need a crappy camera on my phone. I've got a really nice camera, and I have a phone. I am someone who works in innovation, but with my consumer mindset, that is what I said. Now, I don't have a camera, I just have this, and we take really good photos on it. So yes, perennial problem. Don't ask a consumer what they want to do now. Think about the future. And all of our disruptive innovation thinking is all about looking at the possibilities, seeing who will adopt it in the short term, and then plan for how you change behavior to get mass adoption. At the moment, what I see, there are too many strands that will come together. And there are too many things going on that I think this will be a reality. If it'll be a reality in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you need an enabler that can really drive that. But it will always start with a few drive behavior change that will be adopted by the masses. But good for provoking, because that's what we're here for.
Excellent.